On Friday, April the 5th, 2024, I posted Anachronism 4283. It's called What's the Big Mystery? This is condescending, by the way. So, in that spirit, what's with the mirror in this piece? There are tons of them all over the place in general, but found in this genre, they most often exist individually and just to elevate things. If you can't see vibrating, forceful, or otherwise silhouette somewhere in the gloss of the moment of the mirror's first appearance in said work of art, then we can call that foreshadowing. I'd say this is the kind that is mostly mere indication, a positive thing, rather than anything that spells general and specific doom. It might be so positive that should the viewers be thinking critically of film in any conscious way, it would be unintentionally, or so I would assume, given that it is one of our genres that is least associated, and even perhaps quite rarely adjacent to the notion of, I'm going to introduce the potentially derailing term, artistic or academic or geek associative criticism, wherein foreshadowing is a mechanism whereby we, the audience, might overthink, much less splice and or extricate and or detail this normally elevated, even complex or debatable or literary device. It would be and should normally just pass us by. It would and should just normally pass us by, such as a generically standard set piece in this kind of thing. We'd ordinarily be thoughtless to its presence unless in an expectant way. That is, if any thought even were to go into such a thing. The thought might come bearing down on us once the set piece is literally utilized, thanks to the reflex of being mind-numbingly beaten into the general psyche's zeitgeist or populist kink zone, the particular and next to ubiquitous set piece, given its purpose, rather than any representation or literal function. In actuality, when it is, let's say, put into play, and I could be wrong about the noticeably versus well, of course, it is there versus the looking ahead. Oh, wait, I can already sense a quite significant, thoughtful reason for its placement again, most often in retrospect, such that literal, visceral fast-forwarding might immediately transpire thanks to the initial non-use of it. It being, again, one of the most frequent set pieces in this, probably our most prevalent artistic genre. In fact, perhaps our most lauded genre, a genre we might call our official national genre. Should such an association be given with pretty much anything beyond a bit of fleeting, rare, and or randomly cunning consideration. And if you haven't figured out what I'm talking about here, I'm talking about the art form of pornography, believe it or not.